Toby, first block of the new competition, the United Rugby Championship, has been completed. Your reflections on the Ospreys' start to the season?
Yeah, obviously we looked at the block and from an outcome point of view, and to win 4 out of 5 was really pleasing for the group and gives them confidence. The exciting thing is there was certainly some lessons to be learned in that journey, both winning and especially the one we lost and the nature of it. So yeah, every day's a learning day from a player and coaching point of view about each other and what we're doing. And every time we get adversity, we've bounced back from it, which is good, and so is probably a representative of the cultural side of things, of how tight-knit group this group is becoming. And we'll need that in these tight contests, because often that's what gets you through.
Ospreys are the highest priced Welsh side in the competition at the moment, and had their first fixture over Munster since 2016. That must be satisfying.
Yeah, I think I'm on record post the game, and the Irish provinces are the benchmark. And anyone that knows anything about this competition and understands that, even if you don't, from a European point of view, you just look at who's in the final shake-up. So yeah, I've said that the mark of our progress is how we perform against them consistently, and obviously get a victory against Munster at home gives, as I said previously, people confidence. But we need to keep doing those or achieving those sort of outcomes, because that'll be the mark of our progress.
New recruits like Thomas Francis, Michael Collins, Jack Morgan, Ethan Roots, Elvis Tyone and Jack Regan have all made their debuts for you this season. How have they fitted in, and what's your kind of reflections on their performances?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's a difficult one to answer as on an individual basis, because they've played different amounts of games in different competitions, and I stand by the sentiment about growing people into first team regulars and international rugby, and recruiting high potential players. And some people have already displayed that high potential or came here with it, and it's about harnessing that in the Ospreys way. So I think that you saw great flashes of Michael Collins early on. Unfortunately, he got injured. And the boy Ethan's getting better and better. He hasn't got too much of a rugby background to do on, so him becoming better is about understanding the game. And they've all got different targets, and Jack Regan the same, different Northern. So the youngsters about just getting out playing, and playing at Neath on the weekend was good to get them something to get their teeth into. Probably the standout performer has been Jack Morgan, for sure. He's played a lot of rugby, and so but he's had a massive influence in the game. He's got a couple of man of matches, both internally and externally, and that's why we were so keen to get him. So yeah, him along with the team probably represents where the team's progressing as well. We're enjoying the fact that we've moved forward, but we've got a long way to go.
One of the big headlines of the season is obviously the return of supporters for all the teams, but especially at the Swansea.com. That's your first experience to have a crowd there to cheer the team on. What was that like?
Yeah, great. Obviously, that's what we play the game for. For everybody, for our people from our region, from our supporters, from the enthusiasm of playing the game of rugby itself, and for all those reasons, and to get people on that journey with us, and part of that is great. I mean, it's a big stadium, and the more people we can get into it, the more atmospheric it will be, and we want to try and get as many people in there and winning and playing a way that makes people want to come and watch it. And if we do that, it becomes a more daunting proposition for opposition teams, and that's the challenge. One of the challenges that we've got to overcome.
The big rugby story so far has obviously been the return of Gareth Anscombe. You know him well because he's been here, but it's a return after 2 years. But it's really a story, an inspirational story of resilience, really, and also support.
Yeah, I think so. I think that no one likes to see players injured, and especially the nature of that injury, ACL injury, is obviously something that I inherited coming here, and then to get a setback and having to almost redo it was, start the journey again is is a horrific mental thing for players to get over, and to get back playing. You know, he's been out and played international rugby since that time. It is a meteoric return, and that's fantastic. He'll be the first to say that he's just pleased to be out there, and the longer he's out there and the more consistent he's out there, the better he'll become for everybody. So yeah, a great advert of resilience from the player itself, but also the people that have contributed to it. It's been a multidisciplinary effort from coaches, from assistant coaches, from medical, from physical, from everybody, both in and out of the camp, to apply as much support and well-being and his family's support and all his teammates' support, and we've got him through, and that's testament to everybody who's played a part in that.
Rugby law changes and amendments, there have been a few this season. Your kind of thoughts and reflections on them?
I think that the good thing is that rugby is trying to make itself safer and more attractive to watch. You know, we are in the entertainment business, that's what we try and do. So we have to mitigate against playing in winter and stuff like that. So anything that addresses those and makes the game better, in whatever better looks like, you know, we've got to at least examine. And I think that the sentiment behind that is absolutely right. I'm not sure that some of the law changes have done what they think they're going to do, but those things will come out in the wash. But having a different dynamic with goal line dropouts and, you know, 50-22s and bits and pieces brings a different dynamic to the game, which I think is exciting, and there to be examined and manipulated from coaches and players, and so it brings something different to it, which is good. I still think there's, as I said, some ironing out to do. I can't understand why you can take a drop goal from a goal line dropout but not from a 22 dropout, and I'm sure those things will come into line, for example. But yeah, I think the sentiment's good, and I think we have to embrace it, and the sport is trying to make itself better, and I think that should be commended for that.
Next block of games is a very long block of games. It's the return of the United Rugby Championship, the sides return to the Heineken Champions Cup, and also Welsh derbies as well. That must be a major challenge, but one that always excites a coach, I'd imagine. Yeah,
we do this to play, you know, and there's a lot of different. I mean, even the time I've been here, the second season I've been here, we've had different opposition, different competition format, different rules, different whatever. So it certainly is a fast changing pace. But this coming into winter part of it is often where, you know, you determine the final knock-ins really. You set yourself up for the final push, and if you're too far away, so it's a critical phase. You know, you'd ask a coach that in pre-season, he'll say the first one is the critical phase. What's the most critical phase? The one that's just in front of you. So, yeah, we know that involves different distractions. You know, obviously we've got Irish provinces to benchmark ourselves against. We've got regional derbies at Christmas and New Year, which is also another different thing and a different hostile environment, especially for these young players. And also that's either side of a very tough Champions Cup draw. So yeah, the first, if you like, 6 games or so are going to be very demanding, especially when you're bringing people back out of international window as well. So there's lots of things at play here. All we can control is ourselves and what we can control. And you know, we're pretty clear, and we've spoken about it today and over the last week or so about the areas of our performance we want to improve in. So we'll concentrate on ourselves and take each challenge as it comes.